Hi Lana, your photograms turned out well in a way that's very abstract. Certainly they don't look like the flowers themselves. However, they are uniformly that way, and so it makes for kind of an interesting abstraction. The difficulty that we see here is when you try to get something that has nice sharp edges like this, it's easier to do it with something that's flat. And flowers, of course, are going to have some volume to them. And anytime that you have that kind of height, you've got the sun coming in at an angle, and that gives you these blurred, ghosting edges. And so that, I think, is one of the bigger challenges. You said one of the difficulties that you had was in kind of thinking that it was going to be an easier process than it actually was, and so you didn't have everything set up just exactly right. And for sure, I mean, that's part of it. You learn this technique for the first time, and it seems kind of easy. You see something on, you watch the videos, you know, maybe even do extra research on it, do the videos on YouTube, and once you start to sit down and actually work with it, you realize that there's actually a lot going on. You said your exposures were a little dark, and I'm not sure that I agree with that. So having a really nice dark blue background is part of the appeal of the cyanotype. The color is very appealing. We see all sorts of little patterns here in the background, and that works well with the overall abstraction of it. If they were a little bit lighter, yeah, we would still see them. However, they would start to compete with the really bright areas in your image, and so I can see where you're going with that. However, I don't think it's entirely. I don't think I wouldn't consider these overexposed. In order to get the nice flat sharp edges, really the key is for something like flowers is to press them and make sure that they're flat to begin with. You can certainly do that ahead of time. You can press flowers in a book or something like that if it's between wax paper to make sure you don't ruin the book. The other thing you can do is, and certainly planning ahead is going to be your best solution. The other thing you can do is use some sort of glass or plastic that does not block UV, and put it over that and really kind of squish it down there tight. And the tighter the sandwich is with the paper and your flower and then the glass, the more detailed lines you're going to get, the more crispness that you're going to get. Again, really like these little background sort of details. Yeah, they I guess they could be a little bit brighter, but overall, I think that the colors are just very nice. Breaking up the big sheet of paper with some of those lighter blues against the darker blues, it actually works fairly well as an abstraction. You said that after you rinse them, you hung them up in your shower to dry, and you got all sorts of blue drips on your tub. That tells me that you didn't fully wash your prints, and you had some unexposed chemistry that hit the tub. Hopefully you're going to be able to get that off, and it depends probably a little bit on what your tub is made of. It can definitely be a staining process, and it can be very permanent against the wrong sort of material. There are of the cleaning agents that you probably want to try to get that up. I'd probably start with ammonia or vinegar. When you're cleaning, be very, very careful you don't mix things together. You never want to mix ammonia with bleach, for example, and that's definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge for you, and you can do some research online. If you need some more tips, you can certainly let me know. But hopefully that's not going to be an issue for you. Overall, they work well as abstractions. The deep blue is actually kind of pleasing. Certainly, exposure times can be a challenge. Certainly, weather obviously is going to be a challenge. And the best solution is experiment and, of course, plan ahead. Let me know if you have any questions.